Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Aki Durzon with Integrity Realty Utah team from Innova Realty. I'm here to talk about what the market's looking like with my friend Rick Silva, my business partner. Rick, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I'm Rick Silva. I'm with Utah Appraisal Solutions. I've owned the company for 30 years this year, and I've been an investor most of that time, and recently teamed up with Aki, and we're in one of our flips right now.
Yeah, this is one of our work projects. This is a $2 million home. Well, will be a $2 million home soon. So we're excited to talk about what makes a $2 million home, what we're looking for, and really what this market's going to look like so this $2 million home can sell.
Yeah. I mean, from an investor perspective and appraiser, it's about really as the old adage, 3 keys in real estate: location, location, location.
Exactly.
So as an investor and as an appraiser, I look for homes in neighborhoods like this, which is where we're at right now is in Holiday, just a few blocks from Walker Lane, which is arguably the most expensive neighborhood in Salt Lake County.
We met about almost a year ago, actually. Rick actually appraised one of my investment properties, and I had him go out probably about 3 or 4 times out there, or had to reschedule him. And through that, we started talking a little bit more. He actually was one of the most fair appraisers I've seen out there. And so I started talking to him. In fact, I mentored underneath him a little bit, doing some work for him as well. And that's sort of how we began this relationship.
Yeah, Aki had an investment property, and I think I liked it. But then the more we talked, I kind of convinced him that he needed to change his color palette.
That's true. There you go. We're going to get to that. He did. He taught me the ways. Then what happened was probably about the end of this past year, end of 2023, we decided that instead of Rick retiring, going to Cabo, he wanted to stay here and do some more investments with me. And so we'll pan through, or we'll show you some videos down below. You can look at those, and you can click that link below, and you can see some of our videos of our homes coming up.
Typically, your appraisals for single-family residential homes. We also offer commercial services for estate planning, divorce. Usually, you can just find us on our website, which is utahappraisalsolutions.com.
So as far as companies like Homey and other companies as well that will probably soon be going out of business, this is more part because of the NAR lawsuit that's been happening. And if you haven't looked that up, I recommend you guys look into that, see what's happening, get informed so you know what to look for and really what your real estate agent should be doing for you, how you should be protected now that commissions are being disputed. A lot of the reason why these companies that were trying to get as much business as possible for the lowest price are going out is because now we're trying to find out what it really means to be a realtor, what it really means to represent someone. It's not just going out showing homes. It's not just opening up a door. Anyone can do that. What does negotiation look like, and what does that entail, and what do you need from a realtor? And so a lot of those people were sort of taking advantage of other realtors who are offering more money, and a lot of realtors that aren't doing this full time are leaving because they're not. This isn't their life. This isn't everything they think about. And as far as Rick and I, real estate is our life. If you agree with that, yeah. I think we live, breathe, and we'll probably die in real estate. And so that's just how we are. And you really need to start picking someone and having someone like that represent you, or having them in your back pocket with any real estate needs. I think this summer, I mean, we discussed this in my previous podcast, and I'm grateful that Rick's here with me. He'll help explain a little bit on his under contract. He gets to see the under contract market, these homes that are now reserved by buyers that they're wanting to move into. But I see this market that we've been on this long lull for 2023, and now we're coming into 2024, this summer season. There's a lot more activity happening. There's going to be a lot more home sales and a lot more home purchases. But what do you think, Rick?
Well, I think a lot of people were anticipating the market to come down the last year and a half, and in actuality, it has not. And I attribute that in large part to the lack of inventory, and that attributes directly to kind of the refinance boom when rates were under 3%. Recent statistic, 80% of homes are under a rate of 3.2%. And then another 20% of homes across the United States are paid off. So it doesn't leave you with a lot of people who want to sell their home. And with that, it's just supply and demand. And through my experience, even now, I'm seeing multiple offers on houses again.
All over again.
All over again, yep.
Would you say now would be the time to buy, or before it gets even more crazy, or what are your thoughts?
I think we're in a stage of low inventory, as I just mentioned. But if I would buy a house if I was a first-time home buyer, I think prices of homes are going to continue to go up.
Do you think in the summer it's going to be more and more difficult?
Yeah, typically if I was a buyer, I would buy in the winter because historically, whether it's an up or down market, Utah always dips in the winter because we have harsh winters. And a lot of people don't want to go out and look at homes when it is below zero or near freezing.
Yeah.
And they don't want to move during the holidays. In fact, if I were a first-time home buyer, I'd be looking between Thanksgiving and Christmas, honestly. You're going to save, I mean, I've looked at stats on this before, 3 to 5%.
There you go.
Just to buy at the right time. And historically, again, in spring, summer, especially in Utah, our prices seem to go up 3 to 5% every year.
Exactly. So coming into that, I would say if you didn't buy this past season,
yeah,
probably right now before we hit into that June, this off school season where everyone's out there, they're all going out to open houses, people are flooding the market. And probably right now would be the time to try to find out if it would be a good option.
Yeah, and on the flip side, this is when you want to sell a house.
Exactly.
Right. So if you want to get top dollar out of your house, you're downsizing, whatever it is, you want to list between May and July. For home sellers, I mean, obviously, timing's everything, but you got to make your house presentable. I think a good agent will come in and give you ideas.
There you go, guys.
Selfishly, I'd say, hey, get your home appraised. I mean, for the amount of money that this is someone's single largest asset that they own, the cost of an appraisal is $500. I think it gives you a good barometer. I know you as an investor order appraisals with our firm
and home seller and all my clients. I make sure they appraise their homes before they sell.
There's just a lot of advantages to that. You're doing your due diligence ahead of time. You can combat a low appraisal, which we've done before, and I've done that for a lot of my clients.
For someone, let's say, okay, home seller wants to go and sell their home. They want to call you to get appraised. What should they do before that? What should they, before you see that, to give your value opinion, what things could they do to really bring that value out of their home?
That's a really good question. It depends on their budget. I mean, I would always say, I like to refer to lipstick and rouge, right? Just put some paint on the walls. We've talked about paint colors right now and how to keep everything pretty simple.
Uh-huh.
You don't want the 2 or 3 tone walls. I see that a lot, especially in older homes. Really cost effective to repaint your home. Keep the yard and maintained. Mow the lawn. Keep it green. Curb appeal. You can add a lot of curb appeal for a little amount of money.
Okay.
So just little things like that without getting into big budget items like a new kitchen. But as I always say, everything depreciates except the dirt. So
there you go. So anything you can do to update. What are we looking for as far as tones, colors? I know you're not this expert designer, but I have seen that you have a lot of knowledge in that field.
Yeah, I've helped several investors just on color palette alone, really.
Myself included.
Yeah. Where I've gone into investors' homes and they're kind of a little stuck in maybe 5 years ago with the grays and whites, as we know that's out. I think a lot of just stay up with the trends. And it's as simple as, going on Pinterest, going on Instagram, seeing what the, Toll Brothers does a really good job. A lot of the new builders have professional designers that are keeping up on these trends. So if you go into model homes, if you're getting ready to sell your home, go walk through
not a bad idea.
A model home. I know recently I appraised a model home, and
the rainy day.
Yeah,
it was rainy day. I forgot
Rainy
which
Homes.
one.
Yeah,
Rainy
it was
Homes.
like a $2 million home. But you get a lot of ideas.
They got the color palette. So you'd say color palette. If you can get that color palette down by flooring, paint. I mean, having the 6 different colors in each bedroom, that's not popular anymore, is that?
Yeah, you want to keep it one-toned.
Exactly.
Different sheens. There's several off-white colors that are really popular out there right now. I know the one we do is white dove with Sherwin-Williams and alabaster. Both are really similar. You just ceilings, walls, trim, all the same color. Yeah, I mean, they are slowly starting to come back in certain rooms. Maybe in a family room, you see a lot of the decorative trim on, headboard walls and things of that nature. Yeah, I mean, I think wallpaper has made a comeback the last couple of years.
It has.
And so I'm not opposed to that. I see it in really high-end homes. From an appraisal perspective, I would say if you don't have a finished basement, finish your basement. I think there's a lot of dollar add there, and with the type of buyer that's in the market right now, you're seeing a lot of first-time home buyers. They don't necessarily have the budget to finish the basement. I know you and I are adding walkouts to almost every house.
That's how we increase value.
And so I think a walkout basement with a second kitchen right now has really been a hot commodity in the market.
I don't think we see one of those. It's hard to find one of those under 550,000 nowadays.
Yeah. And so that walkout with the second kitchen is for the first-time home buyer who wants to rent out their basement and maybe pay half their mortgage payment.
Exactly.
So you didn't see that 10 years ago.
No.
But now with the inflation and the rates, people are looking at ways to have passive income and still buy a house.
We actually have probably 6 or 7 of those properties off market as well that you are free to DM me or message me, and we'd be happy to give you some more information on those.
Yep.
So as far as ordering a home inspection, I would definitely recommend it. It's going to save yourself time and trouble. And like we mentioned in our previous podcast, you can listen to down below. This is something that the buyer is going to ask for during that period, during their due diligence period, or during their time to inspect the home. And you really want to make sure if you can cover that before you even put it out there for people, you're going to save yourself time and money.
And to answer that question as well, I'm in the process of listing a property, commercial property, and I had it pre-inspected just to do my own due diligence, and I just didn't want any red flags that another inspector might find that somebody would perhaps even get out of they're subject to inspection. It's an out for them in case they want their earnest money back for whatever reason. And if nothing comes up on the inspection, it's just doing your own due diligence.
I agree. In fact, I would say probably almost a call to action to all realtors out there, or anyone looking for a realtor. If your realtor isn't saying, hey, get this home inspected prior to, you should really think about that. You should think about if he has that experience, because that's something that's going to save you. That's something that's going to save you time. That's something that's going to save you money. And that's something that can make or break your deal. That's something that you can take care of before the deal falls apart because of something that you didn't even know about. I think that's a perfect one for you.
Yeah, I mean, typically assessed value is well under market value. The county assessor purposely has them slightly lower than market because they don't want a load of appeals coming in. So I would not. It's similar to Zillow. I mean, Zillow's off by it could be off thousands, and sometimes they're spot on, but I wouldn't take an online resource, even the county assessor, for any type of valuation.
I think you're exactly right, Rick. I think trying to go on Zillow and get your Zestimate or go Redfin or all these other websites, they're really just basing it off of facts around that sort of mass appraisal appeal, which you can talk about.
Yeah, and a caveat to that is sometimes you can be overvalued, and I have done tax appeals for people, but typically you're going to be in a multi-million-dollar home where it's really advantageous for you to get an appraisal because the cost of an appraisal is expensive enough where it doesn't make sense for, say, somebody who owns an entry-level home. But, I mean, I did one for a big car dealer who owns a house here in Walker Lane. 2 years ago, and I lowered his taxes a couple of $1,000s a year, actually.
So that's when it's higher, it's because you're already you're way up.
Yeah.
But usually we're seeing, and talk about how do those actually work? That'd be good. So when people go on Zillow, and the let's say the assessor's page, how does that work? They just take a whole group of homes, right, and they sort of bulk you together in that zip code.
Yeah, the county assessor uses a platform or a model called ad valorem, which is basically your neighborhood, and they just do a mass appraisal. And typically that's kind of, if you're a smaller house in a neighborhood, you're going to be taxed a little bit higher.
Or your value is going to go up. And so it doesn't take into consideration, and this is going back to why you should get an appraisal, doesn't take into consideration anything as far as your updates you've done to your home, your condition of your home, the quality of your construction. I mean, it doesn't take into consideration the upgrades, your finished basement, all these other things. Zillow, all those mass appraisals, all they're doing is just taking a giant area of your neighborhood, circling it, and sort of taking that average.
Yeah,
of what it's
and a lot of times the county's wrong on your square footage too.
Exactly.
I see that a lot. In fact, we do a lot of just measurements for agents on homes that the county has either misrepresented on the low end or high end.
I could go into horror stories about that as well.
Yeah. That we're in one right now. The basement was wrong.
The basement wasn't. And other things is the fact that, I mean, if you're not sure about that, that's another. If you're not sure about your square footage or you've done things to your home, get it appraised.
Yeah.
Get it. Find out the measurements, because agents that don't really, let's say, aren't paying attention, aren't full-time, or aren't doing everything that they can for their clients, what you should be looking for. Each home that I have, I'll call Rick.
Yeah. Well,
I bug you all the time, right?
And the real experienced agents, I've worked with agents that have been doing it for 30 years, and they still call me when they have a question on square footage, and they have me come out. And so I think as a home seller, having that experience, I think what you're paying for with an agent is you're paying for that experience.
Exactly.
The novice agent isn't going to have that experience like, say, you have, or someone who's been doing it for a long time.
Exactly. And I just, again, make a call to action for all realtors to definitely, I mean, find out before you get your client involved in something where they can actually lose their deposits that we've talked about. Find out the ins and outs of the home. Get an inspection. Even talk to appraisal, talk to someone about value before you go and risk someone's money that's not your own. So typically whenever I go to a seller, typically you're going to spend between probably 5 to 7% of your home value, or whatever you sell your home for at the very end. You have your title fees, you have your agent fees, you have your taxes. All these things need to be paid for at the very end. But what's coming into consideration with this recent lawsuit with the NAR is, why am I paying 6% for someone just to post my home up on the internet? And that's really, it's the same thing. It's a call to action to all agents out there. Or am I worth a 6%? Am I worth $20,000 for someone to sell my home? Or $40,000 in some cases for someone to sell my home? I mean, Rick, he knows a ton of agents out there. You can even go forward with that. If you're not having your client do an appraisal, or getting that appraisal for them, or getting that inspection for them, staging their home. Myself, if you called me up to list your home, I invest out of my own money. I'll invest probably between 1% of whatever your home's going to sell for into your home by staging, photos, cleaning, appraisal, inspection. I'm going to take it all 10 yards, make sure it's a perfect product out there, and really make sure that you're not going to run into any problems in this process. And that's how I've become one of the top 1% out there, just because by doing that.
Yeah, I think from a seller perspective, I think you need to be aware that typically you are going to have a seller concession right now. With the rise in interest rates, what I've seen is rate buy downs. Rate buy downs over the last 2 years are huge, and that's something the seller has to expect. That can usually range from about 1%, anywhere from 5,000 to I've seen as high as 20,000.
Yeah, 1 to 2%.
Yeah, to pay for buyer paid closing costs, which is basically a rate buy down. Seeing that a lot.
True. And I'd go off of that as well. So I didn't even mention. So those are general costs included. And then when you're in the contract, let's say if buyer needs an additional 10,000 to make the deal close, or needs an additional 1%, you should be ready to budget that in. Now, the nice thing, as we're talking about, when we go into this multiple offer market, a good agent is going to make sure you're not going to be throwing more out of your pocket than really what you need to. If you're giving $20,000 to a buyer, your agent probably didn't negotiate how he needed to. So again, going back, agent, very important.
Yeah, I've seen them increase the sell price to include the concessions.
True. Also that, to make sure that it's not coming out of the seller's pocket. It's not coming.
So if it's listed for 500, you might
go up to 5.
Do an addendum of, 515 to pay for 15,000 in concessions.
Now we're going back as well. Why do we get an appraisal, right? Now you have that space. You listed a little bit below. You get the multiple offers. You're coming up. But now you have that space. You have Rick Silva here who knows the value of your home and can make sure that extra monies isn't coming out of your pocket in the end.
Generally, I won't make a line item for countertops. I think that goes in the overall quality of the house. Just from a design perspective, if people are looking to remodel their kitchens before selling, talk to your agent, maybe even call an interior designer. Me personally, I'd say do not get granite right now. Granite is kind of on its way out. Quartz is really popular right now.
Yeah.
Some of the countertops that we're using, the one that we like the most is Taj Mahal. Look at that, granite or quartz.
Yeah, quartz
and marble. That's a beautiful countertop.
So, and what would you say as far as countertops, kitchens go? What colors, what tone are we looking for people that, let's say they want to do that, they have that 50,000,
right?
Or they want to pull out a heat or whatever they want to do.
Well, I'll answer this as an investor more than an appraiser.
Okay.
Because as an appraiser, it's really hard to. Everyone's tastes are different.
Exactly.
I always say if we all had the same taste, we'd all be having the same cars, we'd be having the same haircuts. And I just have to have better shoe style than Aki here. We'd be having the same
very
shoes.
true, very true.
But anyways, be careful if you're selling your home. You want to don't design it for you if you're selling your home. But I always tell people if they're looking to remodel and not selling, just do it how what you like. Because everything depreciates. You may think your kitchen is the shizzle right now, right? But in 10 years,
it's not.
But
right? As far as, so seller wants, they know in the next 3 months they're going to sell.
Yeah.
They have that extra 50,000 lying around. Big ticket item, of course, the kitchen.
Kitchen always sells a home. Always does.
What colors are we looking
for?
Well,
I think right now, and you see this on Instagram with home builders and the homes that I'm going into. I mean, white oak is really big right now. Warm, natural colors, white oak flooring. Like I mentioned, the Taj Mahal countertops are a white countertop of quartz, stainless steel. But a lot of times, if it's a high-end home, you want your built-in cabinetry.
You want your built-ins.
Yeah, the built-ins are really popular right now.
And then as well, we're talking about built-ins, but butler's pantries, or we're looking at those in homes, finding out ways to really bring hidden storage into homes.
Yeah, it's amazing what the cabinet builders are doing these days with just, little nuances within the cabinets. I think I sent you one today where it was
like Lazy Susan on the corner.
It was in an island and it literally twirled around the corner.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Oh, I'll give you that one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to cleanliness, really. I mean, I have horror stories. I just don't know how people don't pick up when they know when someone's going to value their house. It's like, mow your lawn, just do a little pickup, wipe the crayon off the walls.
I'd say if you were going to sell your car, do the exact same thing you would do to your car to your home. You're going to take it. You're going to do the touch-ups. You're going to clean off those nasty grease stains that have been on there for
ultimately,
a while.
as an appraiser, we're supposed to overlook that because we're looking at square footage and the overall condition of the home. But, I mean, there is a psychological effect, I think, when a home's really clean.
And we can go to this. This is really important. An appraiser, appraisal is just an opinion of value. So if you came and saw beautiful, let's say with the Taj Mahal countertops, white oak, everything like that, and then you walk into Hoarder's home, you're obviously, in your mind, you're already thinking, this is a complete difference in value. Is that?
Yeah,
it is true.
I've been in hoarder homes, and in fact, crazy story, a hoarder home in Bountiful, $1 million home, and just I could barely walk down the hallways.
So the difference that it makes when even $1 million home that has clutter isn't going to bring that value. It doesn't, because psychologically you're thinking, I mean, we don't have to go to the specifics of an appraisal, but you're already thinking that condition is a lot less, and you're thinking probably what's behind the walls is a lot older as well.
Yeah, and it goes into pride of ownership. You know, when people take pride in their homes, we see it as professionals, and we probably value it higher, honestly.
There you go. So, yeah, when you're thinking about getting an appraisal or thinking about selling your home for that and getting that appraisal beforehand, definitely think about how you would sell your car or sell anything else. You want to present it in the best way you can.
Yeah.
Just as you would to any potential buyer.
If you're looking to order an appraisal today, typically we're 2 or 3 days out. We've kind of made a little market niche for ourselves. We do offer same-day appraisals. They do cost a little extra. Typically, people don't need them that quickly. Our lenders need them sometimes. We've turned them as quick as, I don't want to say exactly how fast, but pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, we can turn them, within 2 days easily.
I don't think as a potential home seller, that's not the biggest. I think really just making sure you get that in, getting that appraisal in.
Yeah, generally you have lead time.
Yeah.
In most cases.
So right now we have about 12 homes off market. We have a whole luxury line, this one included, starting between $1 million to about $2.1 million, more or less, all on the holiday side, on the East Bench. And then we have from probably $900,000 all the way down to $515,000, sort of this entry-level home where all of them have walkout basements, and you could either call me or Rick about any one of those, and we'd be happy to talk about it.
Yep.
Hey, everyone. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Again, thanks to my friend Rick Silva here. Incredible appraiser, incredible friend, and thanks for coming in and giving us your advice.
Yeah, it was great being here today, not only as an appraiser, but as an investment partner with Aki. If you're looking to get your home appraised or need a valuation or looking at, like Aki does, get appraisals for ARV values for investors, find me on my website. It's utahappraisalsolutions.com. Best way to get a hold of me.
Thanks again, Rick. Everyone have a good one. Take care.